In this video, we're going into depth to talk about the housing market. Are we in a crash? Here in Washington and Oregon. And if you want that information, stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Jackson Ray Wilkey
and Jesse Ray Dow.
And we are the Real Agent Now group right here in the Portland Metro. If this is your first time to this channel, you want to learn everything about working, eating, sleeping, living, playing, and the housing market, make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. We honestly get calls every single day, people moving and relocating here, and we absolutely love helping them. If you're moving, relocating to the Portland Metro or Southwest Washington, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send that pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving to the Portland Metro. All right, so we've had a little bit of shakeup in this real estate market. We're going in depth today, telling you everything about it. Are we going into a crash? All these things that you need to know. So first and foremost, Jay Dow, before the COVID situation and where we're at now, How many houses were on the market then and how many are on it now? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so the way that we look at inventory and how many houses are on the market, it's called months of supply. So with months of supply, anything that's under 4 months of inventory is what we consider a seller's market. 4 to 6 months of inventory is a balanced market, and 6% or more is a buyer's market. And what that number indicates is based on the absorption rate, how long would it take for us to run out by how many houses are listed? So for instance, if there's 1.9 months of inventory, that means that if we stopped listing houses right now, we would be out in 1.9 months. So before the Corona situation came into effect, which was in our last market update of February 2020, because it's always a month behind, we were sitting at 1.8 months of inventory, which was actually one of the lowest months of inventory that we had in the last 3 years. We've consistently been wavering between 3 and 1.5 months of inventory for the last 3 years. So not that much of a change. And we usually change about 1/10 to 3/10 of a percentage every single month. So sometimes it starts scaling up and then it comes back down and vice versa. It's just been a very, very steady, strong market, which actually indicates a very healthy housing market, because you do not want rampant ups and downs. That's what actually indicates a very volatile market. That's what we saw in the collapse of 2008, 2009, 2010. We actually got up to over 18 months of inventory in 2011. That's when we saw super large amounts of foreclosure homes. So we do not want to see that again. It's a bad situation for everyone. But talking about today's state of the economy and where we are at, since we were at 1.9, since then with listings, I've actually seen the number of listings decrease by 25%. So where we were actually listing 800 houses a month, 200 a week, that's actually gone down to 600 a month. So approximately 150 houses every single week, which is kind of crazy, because that just means that our inventory is actually shrinking quite a bit, which means for buyers, it's actually becoming more of a competitive market. So when people think that they're getting a good deal in this specific time frame, that's absolutely not true. What we're actually finding is it's actually becoming incredibly more competitive. Even when you look at the pendings, before Corona hit, we were actually seeing about 47% of the houses go pending, which is right under that 400 mark. Right now, we're still seeing about 400 houses going pending. So that means that about 75% of the listings on the market are actually going pending. So now we have less inventory with the same amount of houses going pending. That means that our inventory rate is shrinking substantially. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying about it becoming more of a competitive market. But the interesting stat that we are seeing is that before Corona, we would have about 100 of those houses per month go back on the market because of a fail sale. Now we're seeing about 200 of those houses go back on the market. So the fail sales are up about 50%. So what buyers and sellers are being extremely cautious of right now is how volatile and how stable jobs are and what people's circumstances are around. So if you're a solid buyer, you're going to be in a position to still get a house. And if you're selling a house, you need to have a listing agent that absolutely knows what they're looking for when it comes to pre-approved buyers. So right now, with the way that the market's going, I would say that we're pretty much holding steady for the last couple of weeks. When we first went into this, it was really, really sporadic. Like, people were coming in and out of contract, but over the last 2 weeks, everything is completely steadied out and smoothed the oceans. So moving forward, I think that we can safely say that our market is going to stabilize right now for the next few weeks at least, until we see what continues to happen with this COVID situation. But if you are looking to make a move, or if you are looking to buy a house right now, we are working with clients every single day to help them find the house of their dreams. You know, we have specific precautions that we have and taken into consideration to make sure that you're healthy and to make sure the sellers are healthy. If the house is occupied, we have 3D tours. We can ask them to leave in advance and set up those showings based on your actual criteria to make sure that you're staying in the most healthy environment possible. And we have other situations based around different types of scenarios. So all you have to do is give us a call and set up a Zoom meeting. We can definitely take care of your situation based on exactly what you need.
You're amazing.
No, the signals are great.
Yeah, no. Hey, and when it comes to a housing market, these are the numbers that you really need to go into. Don't be listening into the Esquire magazines and all that stuff about your housing information. Get the raw data. Hey, and we're good with conversations like that. If you're still wondering about that, give us a call. We can walk you through these. But there's another really active thing that happens, during this COVID situation, the stock market going up and down, and it means a lot to our interest rates.
Yeah.
Where are we at with that, and what does it mean to these buyers?
Yeah, so what it means is, right when everything kind of went into effect, the feds came out and announced that they were going to do a 0% Fed rate cut. And everyone thought that meant they were going to take your loans down to 0% interest. And that is not true at all. What that meant is that they were actually incentivizing these giant banks to put more money into the treasuries. So if they were to hit their daily allotments of how much money they needed to pump into the economy, they would actually let them borrow money at a 0% interest rate. Unfortunately, all these big investment banks held their funds back. So what did that do? That actually took the interest rates and sent them back the other way, because the treasury bills and 10-year market that actually control the interest rates wasn't getting enough demand. So therefore it was causing our interest rates to shoot the other way, which caused them to go up. Right before COVID hit, we were actually in the mid 2% interest rates. Currently today, we're sitting at about 4% interest rate. It has been dipping down into the high threes, but for the last 2-3 weeks, it's actually just been all over the place. We've seen some of the biggest swings in historical data that we've ever seen before when it pertains to interest rates. So the best case scenario is us working hand in hand and checking every single day with our trusted advisor, Addison, on exactly where the interest rates are that day based on your specific needs. And then we can move forward with making the best judgment decision for you and your family.
Yeah, so talking with our lender who's been in this game forever, the most he'd ever seen the basis points jumps was 85 points. So that's nothing you really need to know, but they had jumped 160 to 170 base points in one day, doubling the amount, which means the volatility has been crazy. So that's why it's super imperative we discuss those interest rates so your payment doesn't go up $300, $400, $500 in a day. Last but not least, Jesse, are we gonna start seeing our home prices just plummet?
No, absolutely not. And the reason why is because our inventory level is so low and more people have more equity in their house than ever before. Back when the market collapsed, most Americans only had about $30,000 in equity in their house. Right now, the average American has over $70,000 in equity, and interest rates are completely stabilized. I know I just got through saying that the interest rates were up and down, but those are only for people that are actually looking to purchase right now. Back when the market collapsed, people were doing 5-year adjustable rate mortgages, which means year 1 when you got your loan, it was at 2.75. Year 2, it went up to 3.75. Year 3, 4.75, and then all the way up to plus 7% interest after that 5th year kicked in. So that's what caused an economical collapse, was that people weren't ready to have their interest rate jump up and their mortgages double over the course of 5 years. Everyone thought they would buy their house today at $200,000 and sell it in 5 years at a double price at $400,000 and make $200,000. Unfortunately, these were all falsely inflated mortgages that just didn't work. And the banks were doing predatory lending. They were giving loans out to anybody. Now we have the most strict guidelines to make sure that not only the bank is protected, but more importantly, to make sure you are protected, to make sure you are not overextending your financial welfare and putting your family's well-being in jeopardy.
Yeah, so we can only speak on where we are today and what happened in the past. We don't know going forward, but again, if you want to equip yourself with all the knowledge and exactly what's going on, you got to get with some guys who know the market and exactly how to get your best interest in there. And the only way to do that, you got to reach out to us. You got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send that pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back on moving to the Portland Metro. And until that next video, what?
We'll catch you later.
We'll catch you later. Hey, dude, put this at the end. Okay, ready? COVID bump.